Hey, hello, greetings to you on this fine December 23rd. Happy Festivus. Yes, I know the subject at hand is my birthday and sharing a few thoughts and reflections on this milestone. But those of you who do not know me very well, know me somewhat well, but some of you might not know that for many years I've had uh, I've long been a fan of the Seinfeld television show from the 90s proper, right? I think it mainly in the 90s. So, and you might recall the episode where, oh, there we go, Aunt Kathy. Thank you so much. There's some my honorary Aunt Kathy from my good friends from the Unordained crew jumping in to say happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Or happy birthday to me from you. Thank you. That's what I meant to say. So thank you. So, but yes, some of you might know that I have long loved the Seinfeld sitcom, and the episode in particular where we learned that George's family, his father in particular, created a new holiday called Festivus, which happens on the 23rd in the TV show. And so I'm very proud to share my birthday with the Festivus celebration, the airing of grievances, and so forth. All the feats of strength. Great episode. Go and check it out when you get a chance. But no, I just it was interesting. I wasn't originally planning on doing this, doing anything today, and then I just woke up this morning and I was like, maybe I'll just hop on and record something, and if some folks jump on live, that's fantastic as well if they watch it later. Just sharing some of my thoughts, which I enjoy doing, and I enjoy listening, but I also enjoy sharing. Today is my 50th birthday, just a minor milestone birthday. And I've had a great day. I'm wearing a T-shirt that my fiance bought me. The two tickets to the shit show, which is perfect. Each of my girls, they know I love T-shirts, quirky T-shirts, and I got one a girl's daddy shirt that shows Bluey and her dad, so it's a Bluey T-shirt. And then my oldest, Mel. That was Ellie who got me that. My oldest, Mel, bought me a T-shirt with a cartoon version of Chris Farley's classic motivational speaker from the SNL skit, which she knows. She and I absolutely love that. We probably have watched it like 100 times together, and we never get tired of it. So, I was just thinking very simply, what did I want to talk about briefly for tonight? And one, just a little bit about my birthday celebrations. And I wanted to, and I'm hoping, did I save a picture of it? Because I'm going to see if I can pop it up really quick. This all started a couple of months ago when two good friends, I've posted pictures on social media about this, but two pretty much lifelong friends, minus just a few years, Chris, my friends Chris and Dale, started kind of recognizing, because we're all turning 50. They just finished having their birthdays in November. Happy birthday to both of you. And we went up and we camped out near Mount Lassen and hiked the mountain. We all got matching. I got us matching T-shirts that said "I'm this old," and it had a picture of like a VHS tape and a audio cassette and like an actual floppy disk. Dating myself, but had a great time just connecting with a couple of amazing people. And I will say that about when you're having these kind of birthday celebrations and you're marking these kind of life milestones, at least chronologically speaking, you really just find yourself pretty moved by how fortunate you feel with the people who are in your life, people who've stuck with you, especially, or people who have entered your life who just have for all, for just in really positive ways. And so we started off with some of that. Then more recently, let me see if I can find, did I upload the picture? I'm going to try to upload it really quick. My lovely fiance, Amanda, and I got a chance. I had this old Disney chase card. I've had it for years. And we decided that we were just going to go and just and use that. Use up we had a bunch of points. So you can only use them for one thing, and that's it. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's go ahead and let's use it for that. And so we got a chance to go down, not this weekend, but the previous weekend. I was down at Disneyland with Amanda, and we did an adult Disney. My kids were great. Like we've done a lot of adventures, but Amanda and I hadn't gone away on a trip in it seemed like a little while. So we're like, we need to make this a priority, and we'll celebrate it was like kind of a combo celebration of my birthday and our recent engagement a couple of months ago. So we went down there and had just really had a blast. And I got to show at least one picture from that time. Here we go. It's going to go right in the middle of the screen there. But that's us at Olga's Cantina in Galaxy's Edge, or what most of us just refer to as like Star Wars Land. And we had a lot of fun. I think this was on our picture while we were working on our third rum, which was the maximum that they allow. We had one earlier at Blue Bayou, and then a couple here at Olga's Cantina. Closed it out, literally walked, we were the last people to leave, and walked out into an empty corner of the park, of the amusement park, which was theme park, which was really weird to be in a part of Disneyland with nobody around, but it was a lot of fun. And then this last weekend, both of my girls are here, and I'll say happy birthday to them if they watch this later on. Or why do I keep saying happy birthday to them? Say thank you to them for their gifts, as I mentioned earlier. Had a great time. Went out to one of our favorite restaurants and got our favorite treats from Caring Kitchen, and opened up our presents. One of my presents that Amanda got for me for my birthday was a legit Nintendo NES system, which I remember getting in I think it was Christmas of 1986. My brother and I were completely floored, and we're on cloud nine for that. That was like the best Christmas ever when we got our Nintendo NES, and then spent the rest of our adolescence and childhood doing upright, left, right, up, down, left, right, AB on the controllers, playing lots of games like a lot of kids of that era. So, and then getting a chance to go out and enjoy a meal with Amanda and a very good close friend of ours, actually Kara, who's been a guest on our Curtain Real Time in the past. And so I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for the ways that I've been able to just kind of, not in a really big flashy way, it's not my MO, but just spend time with people and think about life. It started 50 years ago. I could have pulled out a whole list or a whole bunch of almost show and tell kind of things. Because I'm a little bit of I like collecting. I'm not a pack rat. I'm not a hoarder, but I have bins of things over the years, of little things, including some stuff that I got handed down to me. I have this little baby book that my mom put together. And it was interesting. I was like, I want to see if I can find something. And I was opening it up, and I totally forgot about this, that inside that baby book, and when I opened it up, it actually fell on the ground. I picked it up, was the arm tag that my mom wore in the hospital when I was born. There it says a boy to Lorraine Lewis. That was my mom, on December 23rd, 1974, and some other technical numbers to identify her as a patient. But you think about that, that my mom was wearing this 50 years ago, going through labor to deliver me into this world, and not knowing much of what would come in this life. I mean, I was just a little baby, like you all saw the picture at the beginning. I had it up I'll go and throw it up one more time. But here's a picture again. Oh, I need to take that banner off. We've already started. Hide that. This picture of my older brother holding me in a Christmas sock, and that was 50 years ago. And it's kind of interesting. I mean, later on, when I became a father, and when I held Mel for the first time, and when I held Ellie for the first time, you just think of just how fragile, but then just like wondering what kind of journey and adventure. I wonder what my mom thought, and my dad, what they would have, what they were wondering might become of my life. And there's some aspects of my life that I think maybe they could have seen or predicted, and others that they would never have probably predicted. And there's some choices that I've made on my journey that I don't know if they'd fully understand. They both have passed away a number of years ago. My mom will be 10 years this next August, and my father going on about 4+ years ago. And I was thinking that one of the things I would share was that, as I think and reflect upon this birthday, I've gotten lots of wonderful things. Most importantly, just the relationships that I have. You also just think of like the birthday gifts that you didn't get or that you would like to get. And mine aren't material things. And some of them are impossible. It's just the nature of life. But mainly, I think in terms of relationships, I think of people that I've been really fortunate to connect with over the years, but I've lost contact with them. How amazing would it have been to have seen them again? But maybe it'll be in a future birthday in the coming years. Or you think of people of relationships that either you had, or either I had to draw a boundary in because they weren't making choices that were healthy and safe for me, and so I had to draw boundaries, in some cases end relationships. And you wish that in this life things could turn out differently, where there could be reconciliation. And the same is true the other way around. I know that there's been some people in this life that as I've I understand I was doing the best that I knew how at the time. I was believe that I'm like all people. I believe we're essentially good. We all respond to traumas in a different way, and some of those ways are hurtful to others. And sometimes other people's in my life have had to draw boundaries and in the relationship with me. And I just think about that, like when you start reflecting on it at a milestone birthday of like this, like the things that are most important and meaningful. I just wonder, if I'll ever have an opportunity to reconcile or make things right with some of those folks. Clearly not the ones who have passed on. But I'm also really proud of my journey, which hasn't been hard. It's kind of interesting. You think of all the different hats I've worn in my life at 50. I just thinking about it like vocationally, it's interesting. All the different jobs I've held. So my very, very first paid job, I don't even know if I was really considering a job, but I remember when I was in junior high, I actually earned a little bit of money teaching private swim lessons to like grade schoolers who almost killed me. I think on a couple of instances, almost drowned me. But I remember I still have somewhere a little letter that has like, hey, congratulations, Kurt. You're going to been hired as this swim instructor. I don't even think you can do that now, but and I made like $3 an hour or something at this job teaching grade schoolers. My first like real legit job where I felt like, okay, this is legit, I'm on the payroll, that kind of thing, was my senior year in high school. I started working at Round Table Pizza. Terralino Round Table Pizza, this Kurt, how can I help you? I can still remember the sound of it, of just saying that over and over again, picking up the phone. And I've always been a big pizza fan, so working at a pizza place was not a bad thing because I got a fair amount of free pizza. Fun fact, a few years ago, I was back over in Marin County, the San Francisco Bay Area, where I grew up, and I was there with my oldest daughter, and I was being nostalgic. I was like, hey, let's swing by my old high school and let's swing by my old workplace, which is still there. It's still, the restaurant's still there. And went in, and I told them that I used to work there. And I think it was funny because it's like the cost of a soda, but they're like, hey, soda's on us. So like they gave me and my daughter a soda just because I was like an honored alumni of Carolina Roundtable Pizza. We go on to work at a Denny's, which has now went out of business years ago. I worked graveyard shift at a Denny's, so I did that. I was on an assembly line for a software manufacturer, just doing really boring, tedious job of walking around tables and putting together software packages and shrink wrapping them and all that stuff. I had that through most of college. My parents, who were in the social services career, they worked for an organization called Cedars of Marin. And I eventually, after I graduated from high school, and especially once I came back, I started doing some part-time work with them. And then I worked with another nonprofit that worked with individuals with developmental disabilities. So both of those jobs focused on that population. Then it's like, I was just coming back from Bible college. Most of you know, I'm ex-clergy, ex-Christian, and got a part-time job at a church over in the Bay Area, part-time. I was mixing a part-time job with the part-time job of working at as a group home relief manager, while also being a work site supervisor at a third place. And then finally, I picked up a part-time job teaching at a Christian private school. So I did teaching, like mainly junior high and high school, mostly theological, but I was an assistant basketball coach, and I substituted all the way down to kindergarten. I never thought that people that small could break down a grown man of my size, but they came pretty damn close. So it's like I've worn the hat of a teacher, social, I'm blanking on it, just social services worker, in the food service. Of course, 9/11 happened, and I decided to enlist in the Army. So spent a couple of years active duty in the Army, went over to Iraq, came back, went back into ministry, and then, of course, ended up transitioning and doing a lot of work in the NGO world, working for World Relief at the time, then eventually International Rescue Committee, for another nonprofit out of the DC area that I worked for as well. It just feels like a lot of different hats and a lot of journeys and adventures that I don't think my mom, when she was wearing this and after I'd been born at Hillcrest Hospital, Petaluma, California, knew what was coming. But my whole point in that little rant is just to say that I'm not satisfied with my life, but I'm proud of the direction that it's taken. It hasn't been easy. Hasn't been easy to eventually loosen the shackles of fear and shame and trauma, and to slowly pull those off and to become more and more of who I feel like I truly am, and to pursue the things I'm really passionate about. And so for that, I'm proud of myself, and I don't mind. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm proud of myself for being on that journey. And I hope, in a big part, the reason why I continue to share on this platform and elsewhere is you never know if some aspect of your life will relate to somebody else, and it will inspire them to take a leap, to move past the fear and the shame that they are struggling with, that they're facing with, that others are pouring down on them in an attempt to try to control them and to form them into their own likeness of what they want you to be. And I've chosen over time not to do that, done the hard work, continued to try to do the hard work. It's opened my eyes to a lot of aspects of my own privilege and position. And I think of communities that were far from me, being a predominantly a white kid growing up in Marin County, California, that I have my life, I've just stumbled into them, from refugees from across the world to individuals fighting poverty throughout here in the Sacramento region. And my work was with the Financial Empowerment Center, and now with United Way and our guaranteed income program, to the people I've connected with in the religious trauma world, who I'm just excited about. I'm thrilled to be connected with them and to be walking with them side by side. It's been a life, and I'm excited about what comes ahead. So, and that was really the last part. I wanted to just share a little bit, reflecting upon this timeline. I actually came up with. I'm a big Google Keep Notes person, and I came up with a list a while back of what I call the home stretch, 49 to the finish line. You could call it a bucket list of sorts, but it's really like what when you're hitting 50 and you're kind of like, okay, well, an average lifetime of a male, I think in the United States, unfortunately, it's gone down a little bit, not surprisingly, but is like 77 or 78. It's like, all right, well, 27, 28 years. I'm trying to take good care of myself, and hopefully I'll just keep going and keep causing trouble. But it makes you think about what kind of things you really would love to do and accomplish in your life. And the way I view my life now is I've got one of them, and that's it. I don't adhere to a religious belief system anymore that promises harps and wings and flying around in eternal worship of a God who I find morally dubious. But that's a whole story for another time, as I've talked about elsewhere on these live streams and on my blog. But what are some things? And I thought I'll take a few minutes just to share with those who are. It's great. I see there's 3 of you. That's outstanding, and others who will watch it later. What are some things? Well, some of you know, and the other reason why I wanted to do this is because it's like accountability. Like, ooh, good. The more I tell people that I'm going to do something, then I feel a little bit of like a motivation, because it's like, man, I want to follow through on these things. So what are some things? Well, on a lighter side, and I have no aspirations to turn this into a career or whatever, but I love laughing. It feels like a dominant theme of my life has been a lot of sober work, a lot of sobering work, a lot of difficult work and social work, and even in my pastoral career and all those kind of things. It's just, and I actually really love to laugh a lot more than maybe some people think. And so I've thought about taking a swing at stand up sometime. So one of these times this year, I'm going to do it this year. Hold me to it, everybody who's watching, or will watch it. But I've been putting together some material and some things I like to do. Of course, I'm used to being in front of people. I spent 25 years preaching, so no big deal. I hop up in front of people all the time. I always feel really comfortable, and I've got some things that I'd really like to share in that format. I would say the style that I'm aiming for is kind of like a cathartic comedy, the kind where it's like, when you like things are so fucked up that it gets to a point where it's laughable. And somehow in the process of getting there to that point where things are so horrible that you can learn to laugh about it, it also gives you a little strange way, kind of a little bit of hope, because I don't know, it starts to just lower the defenses of other people around you, and maybe connect with others in a way that establishes a community that you can really start to transform things. And so I'm really excited sometime this year, finding some open mic stand-up nights and doing some fun around there. What's something else I want to do? A lot of you know I've been working with a couple of really good friends of mine, Janice Selby and Jennifer French, amazing people in the Religious Trauma Recovery Center. We're working really hard on trying to lay the foundation. It's been a long road, over probably going on 3 years of laying the groundwork to establish a new nonprofit that would be a physical, transitional living and retreat center and recovery center for people recovering from high demand, high control cults and religious sects. And so that's another big project. I'm hoping to really start to announce some exciting news in this coming year. And hopefully some of you who will watch this and others who will learn about it will get really excited about it. And we'll all lock our arms together and see something happen that's desperately needed. Just establishing one will be amazing. It will scratch the surface, to say the least, in helping what I believe is in all reality is tens of millions, just in the U.S. context alone, if not more, of people who have been the victims of religious or spiritual trauma and who need to restart life in some ways similar to the way I have. And so that's another big project that I'm really excited about. I also love writing. Those of you know I have a blog, and I encourage you, if you ever get a chance, to check it out. I'll put there. You'll see the web URL on that ticker. And I've been actually wanting those all the short little blog articles. I'm really proud of it. There's over 100 on that website, the things that I've written. It's been a little while, but I really want to get back into writing. I want to do a memoir of sorts that will be creative in its process and interactive in its process of being written, with the hopefully eventually those who will read it. So more on that, but it's really a memoir with a motive, and the motive is to highlight some of the challenges, some of the injustices that I have seen or observed or have been a victim of, and try to draw attention to that in a witty and winsome and moving way, so that we can all continue to hopefully move the ball forward in this world towards something that's a little bit more peaceful and loving for everybody and everything. So, but I want to do some more writing, particularly want to start with that project. I'm all geared up to start writing a good outline, and maybe even drafting some early chapters of that this year. I started a couple of other things. I just started a website for it. I don't know if it's really going to go anywhere. I'm looking for other veterans in particular who would be passionate and want to join me for this. But I started a website. You can even find it. There's not much on it right now. It just says a lot of coming soon, but it's called warriorsofconscience.com. And that's a website dedicated to supporting particularly active duty military across the world, for them to learn more about rules of warfare, and when to be a conscientious objector when you're serving in the military, when to say no to a command and say, I'm not going to participate in that. So it could be, and I've shared examples in the past that there have been, for example, members of the Israeli military who have said, no, we are not participating in this genocide in Palestine. And they have paid the price for it. And there is actually a long history of members of the military that have shown tremendous courage and backbone in those kind of difficult moments, and stood their ground. Some have even died because of it. And so I want to draw more of attention to that. A lot of you know that I'm really almost a full pacifist, maybe not quite entirely one, but I am very much anti-war and anti the military industrial complex. And so I'm looking to mobilize veterans, and particularly veterans, to support active duty people, not starting here in the US, but I'm hoping to go, particularly if we can impact the Western countries, which in my opinion, the Western countries in their long history and ongoing history has not stopped, even though they'd like to make you think it has, of colonial exploitation and military violence to countries, to far too many countries across the world. I would love to just see more and more members of the military aware of their rights and responsibilities when they can say no to an order that's being given because it's violating their conscience. So that's another thing I would like to be a part of. Amanda and I have talked about this. We eventually would like to really, we think that the very pattern, the systems that we have set up living, driven by capitalism and greed, are not sustainable to this world, to us as a species. And we're excited about being a part of a different type of living community, like a homesteading, communal homesteading kind of situation eventually, where we could focus on sustainable, really truly sustainable living and try to build a bigger fire and try to give people a different picture of a life that can be lived without just buying lots of cheap shit that is usually coming to us as the result of exploiting other people, other workers, and that ultimately you usually end up polluting the environment, which then makes us sick. It's a horrible, vicious cycle. And so that's something else that Amanda and I are hoping to accomplish in our life together, and with potentially with others, is to eventually homestead and potentially with another group of individuals, and be a part of a larger movement of people who are saying, okay, this isn't working. This isn't working. We got to find a different way to live on this planet together. What are some other things I'm passionate about? Actually, I'm not going to go through all of them. There's just too many of them. I definitely want to continue to be a passionate advocate against for legislation and policies that strictly separates church versus state. I'm a big fan of Freedom From Religion Foundation and their work, and I want to continue to be a part of that. As much as I want to focus on helping individuals recover from religious trauma, I also want to be active in the field of policy and procedures or legislation, so that way we're not just collecting bodies downstream. We want to push back against the Christian nationalism that's rampant in here in the United States, and it happens across the globe. Way too many dangerous movements happening in the world where religion is being forced on people at a government level, and that should not be a big advocate for a secular world where people, if they choose, adults choose, they can have the right to worship as they would like to, but not at the expense of the freedom and the liberties and the passions that other people are choosing or have for their life, if it's against their religious convictions. I also want to continue to draw attention to animal cruelty. A lot of you know that I made the switch and embraced a vegan lifestyle. I want to continue to draw attention to the abuse of animals and offer a different life and the byproduct that has on the environment as well. But to really show another way of living, again, continued theme when it comes to what we eat. Eating healthy, eating safe, and eating kind are things that I'm really passionate about. More military industrial complex. I'd like to continue to identify and put whatever energies I have against policies, or I should say in favor of electing policy makers who are actually going to finally draw the line in the sand and put a check on the military industrial complex here in the United States and the vicious cycle that ends up producing in terms of violence and injustice across the world, simply because it's profitable. It's a profitable business. War should not be profitable at all, period. And so I want to be a part of those kind of efforts. Anyways, those are just a few of the things I'm passionate about and that I'm hoping to contribute to in this second half of the century of my life. We'll see if it ends up being a full century. And that's really all I wanted to do tonight. Just wanted to take a few minutes to mark this moment. And it gives me an opportunity to come back and watch it later and hold myself accountable. So, hey, listen, for those of you who joined and those of you who watch it later on, thanks for just taking the time. What has it been? About 30 minutes. 36 minutes to listen to me share. Love to get to know you and hear what's on your heart and mind as well. You can always reach out to me. I'll do my best to talk. I only have so much relationship capacity, but I always enjoy getting to know new people, as well as growing deeper in old friendships and partnerships. So listen, everybody, have a happy rest of your Festivus. And I will talk to you soon. I will just say one thing. Some of you noticed I didn't do as many live streams this last month. It's December. This is just something I'm doing as a hobby right now, and probably will in the future. But as we head into January, we should start up a little bit more of the regular schedule. But life has been very busy. Got a marriage preparing, busy with work, like all of us, trying to kind of make ends meet, and while also maintaining our sanity. So love you all, and have a good rest of your evening. Take care.